Welcome back to Barely News. I'm Emily.
And I'm Brian. In national disaster news, Rick Santorum's campaign continues. The presidential candidate recently referred to President Obama as the N-word during a public speech last week. Here's a clip of the incident.
We know the candidate Barack Obama, what he was like, the anti-war government, The
Santorum camp, of course, insists that wasn't what he had intended to say. Barely News likes to give people the benefit of the doubt, so my co-anchor Emily has compiled a list of other things he could have possibly been trying to say.
According to Wikipedia, NIG could be used as an acronym for a normal inverse Gaussian distribution, new industrial giants, or it could just be the beginning of a racial slur used by an intolerant man who could someday be President of the United States.
In an attempt to stay relevant, the Supreme Court heard arguments last week over the constitutionality of Obama's health care law, which requires almost every U.S. citizen to buy some form of health care. The justices asked if the government would force its citizens to buy broccoli because we all have to eat it. In response to this controversy, Obama quietly rescinded his support for the Make America Eat Broccoli Act.
President Obama recently named Dartmouth president and Brown alum Jim Yong Kim as his nomination for president of the World Bank. The nomination has been met with bipartisan controversy due to Kim's career as a physician with no prior banking or financial experience. Obama's nomination, however, is simply a reflection of the fact that the economy is so bad that it must either be pronounced dead or medically euthanized.
Proposed legislation would decriminalize marijuana in Rhode Island, and maybe even make its sales regulated and taxed. 15 supporters testified at the State House last week, with the single dissenting voice coming from one Kathleen Sullivan, director of Barrington's Drug Prevention Coalition. She stated that the decriminalizing marijuana would diminish the academic ability of Rhode Island students. Obviously, Ms. Sullivan has never been to Brown.
Lovers of porn, cunning dwarfs, and bloodshed can rejoice as the second season of Game of Thrones premiered on Sunday.
Game of Thrones, few tits and a lot of swordplay.
In other news, Ashton Kutcher has been cast to play Steve Jobs in one of the two competing biopics about the Apple founder. Kutcher, who usually stars in rom-coms, has been filling in for the lead role on 2.5 Men following the sacking of Charlie Sheen for being Charlie Sheen.
Critics are unsure how Kutcher will fare in a role in which he isn't playing himself. Very soon, students will get to see what happens when a tyrannical government randomly pits its peons against each other in brutal and merciless battle for the ultimate prize. That's right, the housing lottery numbers have been assigned. Will you actually get a double in Caswell? Are there enough suites in Young-O for everyone? Is this still going to be another long year of watching freshmen puke in Keeney? Begin making your housing plans soon to determine your fate. May the odds be forever in your favor.
In campus news, the kind folks running the Sharp Refectory have finally implemented entirely new, improved, upgraded, and, drumroll please, chairs!
And tables, too.
Magnificent chairs and tables. Glorious chairs and tables. Chairs and tables that you can really sink your teeth into and not feel like you just took a bite of death.
Chairs and tables that finally satisfy our appetite and our desire for fresh local offerings. Chairs and tables that are, quite simply, both healthy and delicious. Fuck you, Sharp Refectory.
In more campus news, pretentious College Hill hipsters rejoice when Brown Concert Agency added rock group The Walkmen to Saturday's lineup, since no one has ever heard of them before. Did you get spring weekend tickets, Brian?
Well, I'd love to, but my website's still stuck on that, 502 bad gateway bullshit.
You know they fixed that, right?
I'm sorry, what?
All you have to do is refresh your page.
Son of a bitch!
Well, that's all for Barely News, folks. Thanks for watching and catch us next time.